Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, April 30th, 2012. Just a quick glance here shows that we really didn't have much going on this morning. I did take a trade in gold right at the end of the morning session that got me back to break even. I took one trade in Russell that got me at break even, and I took a trade in the YM. I got 1 point on, or one tick. Alright, those were the markets we traded this morning. Unfortunately, the markets really didn't give us a lot of opportunity. I missed a few opportunities. I got into some trades that won, and I didn't take profit when I had the opportunity because I thought we were going to have a little more follow-through, but we have not had any of that today. Alright, well, let's start off here with the Russell. Okay, right here at the open, right after the open, price pulled back up. It didn't actually hit the BBC here, and it was going right into a weekly trading zone, so there was nothing to do in there. We still had some bearish divergence down here, testing the BBC and all that, but we're right inside the zone, so we're not going to do any of that. By the time we sort of get to a position where we could trade out of the zone, we don't have divergence anymore. Alright. Then it switches around and we have bullish divergence, but the MA1's on the wrong side of the BBC. So that's not going to work over there. Then just cruise along here. You can see that we had these big swings with no opportunity. Right here we had some bearish divergence. It didn't pull all the way back up, so we didn't get a trade in there. When it pulled up here, we were looking to go short, but it kept going up, so we decided to can that. And over here we had some bullish divergence, but by the time we got an up close, the cycle had turned red and the MA1 was headed so hard down against us, we decided not to do that. We took a long trade over here. Finally, we had an opportunity. We had bullish divergence, a pullback down, and an up close. We went long right there. It almost stopped us out right here, and then it went back up, and we got out at break even right in here. Okay. That trade now, well, had we stayed in it, it probably would have stopped us out. Right now on the Russell, you can see there's bearish divergence down here. When I say divergence, I mean the green lines and these other lines are moving away from the cycle, which is the thicker red and blue line down here. Right now they're starting to diverge. However, price is going right into the weekly trading zone again. So there's not going to be any trade in there. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that little part of it right there? If you do, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, then we're going to move on to the next. All right. The next market is gold. Let's start at the beginning of the gold. We missed some opportunities right here, right on the open in gold. All right, it was right there. That one didn't pull all the way back. Not really sure I would have entered that without it pulling all the way back, but this one did. So right there with the bullish divergence, everything was blue and going up. We had an up close right there, and that moved up nicely. All right, the secondary one right here. Again, everything's blue and going up. It didn't actually test the BBC before it closed back up, but that could have just been a continuation of this trade over here. Let's see, when it pulled back over here, you see the cycle's red and headed down, the MA1's headed down. Everything's going down by the time we get an up close, which is right here. This was actually an even close, but we'd call it an up close. Right in here, all right? Everything's red and headed down, so we're not looking to go short then. Over here we get a test of the BBC. Well, here we had a test of the BBC, a bearish test of the BBC. We got the down close right here. I didn't see this trade happen. Not sure what was going on there, but that was an actual short opportunity right in there that we didn't take. Let's see, scrolling along. Here we go. This was our first short trade. All right, we had bearish divergence. Everything's red and headed down. We got our down close right here after testing the BBC. And we shorted right in here. We were a little late getting into this trade. This one, it went almost to our profit target down here, and then it came back up and stopped us out with a couple of ticks profit. All right. After that, there was another one right here that I missed right in here. That one was a nice trade. That would have put us green on the day right there. You know, with gold, I have an 8-tick stop and I don't have a target. So that is... that right there would have given us a lot of profit. Okay, a nice deal of profit. I think it went about 60 ticks. 50 ticks? 60 ticks. 60 down to 16. 50 ticks. Something like that. Where did we get in there? I think, well, we got in over here at 567, and it dropped all the way down here to 515. So that's 52 ticks. But it rolled around here, and it went back up. It didn't pull back to test the BBC here, so we had no entry. We had no entry again right there. This was our entry spot. Now right here, cycle's going against us. The cycle's going against us, and the MA1's going against us. I figured it was going to make it up to the MA1, and the MA1 would probably hold. That's exactly what happened. We ended up getting out of break even. All right, the next trade we took was a short trade right here. We had bearish divergence down here. I shorted right here. The cycle was blue, but it was still flat, so I shorted it. We ended up losing 5 ticks on that one. I missed this short trade right in here, or I didn't take it because the cycle was more toward the middle instead of at the bottom. I did take this one right here. Now this was sort of a mistake on my part because the cycle was headed down against us a little too strong here. The MA1 wasn't, but the cycle was. And I went long right here and I stopped out right here, and then it went sideways for a long time until it finally reversed and went down. By the time it did do that, we had a shorting opportunity in here, and I know some of the partners in the trading room took this short here for 10 ticks. Okay, this was at the close of the session. I took this one right here to get back to break even. I had a couple of contracts on. That's how I got to break even from that short right there, but we had the bearish divergence, and I had told everyone at the end of the morning session that if we got the down close on this bounce off of the BBC here, I was going to take the short, and I did. Let's see, since then, nothing. We have bullish divergence in here, but you can see right here when we got the up close after testing the BBC, we got the up close right here, but the MA1 is down so hard against it, and the cycle is down against it as well. It suggests it's going to keep going down. All right, that was our gold for the morning. Now we'll go to YM. Okay. The YM 4-tick range, we took one trade on that. Let's see how many set up. All right, we had some divergence down here after the open. Right in here we had bullish divergence, a little bit of bullish divergence, and an up close. We missed that. We had some bearish divergence down here, and we had plenty of down closes, but we didn't test the BBC till over here. So right in here is where you would have been actually looking to get short on that. Okay. Right in there. All right. Let's see, over here we didn't go long, but there was a long right in here. Now in here with the YM, first of all, there was a news event right here. The Chicago PMI came out right here. Okay. But at this point in the day, the YM and the ES were going back and forth on the weekly trading zones, meaning the ES was below zone and the YM was above it, or the YM was below it and the ES was above it, which made trading in here kind of, I don't know, a little dicey because it was kind of choppy in here. That said, we had bullish divergence here with an up close right there. We didn't take that trade. The MA1 was holding it. We had, I don't know where those arrows came from. Right here we had bullish divergence. Right here we had an up close. Again, we didn't take this one. I must not have seen it. We had an up close here with some bullish divergence. I did take this one, and this is where I got my +1 tick. When price came up and hit the BBC right here, I moved my stop up to plus a couple of ticks, or +1 tick, and that's where it ended up getting me out. All right, we had some bearish divergence in here, a couple of opportunities in here. I didn't see this one right there with the down close after testing the BBC. Again right here, down close after testing the BBC. Over here we lost the divergence, so there was no trade in there. Then we had some bullish divergence here, but it was really, really messy. So there were no trades right in there. All right, that was the YM on the day, and you can see we didn't get a whole bunch on the YM. Got 1 tick on the YM. So that is where it stands. Let me bring over the 6E. I just want to show you stuff on the 6E. Same indicator set. The one thing I want everybody to understand in here this morning is that we're using the same exact indicator set and the same setup across all these markets. Okay, this is the 6E on the 4-tick range. Um, I think I started marking it up here around 3:30 in the morning, my time. There was bearish divergence right here. Okay, on the slingshot, we had bearish divergence and a test of the BBC with a down close. Again, over here, same thing. Bearish divergence, test of the BBC with a down close. Again, over here, same thing. Over here we had bullish divergence with a test of the BBC and a down close. That one there would not have worked. All right, that one would have failed, or would have stopped out. This one right here we had bullish divergence with a down close, both of these actually, and they both would have worked out. If you only took one of them, that's fine. It was going right into the weekly trading zone. That's the thing about these 6E trades. All these long ones were going right into the weekly trading zone over here. This short one was going right into the zone. This short one here wasn't, but this one was. This one was okay. Price right now is stuck right inside that zone. So it looks like we are not going to do anything there. Okay. Let's see. That's pretty much the morning. We didn't trade on any other markets this morning. We briefly looked at soybeans. I can slide those over and show you what they're looking like right now. Yeah, we briefly looked at soybeans this morning. This is what they looked like. Okay, the open was right in here. At 10:30 was the open. Now we went over ways to trade the soybeans in the partners meetings. Okay, the way to trade the soybeans where you're going to get the most opportunity is to trade it when you have just what you see here on the charts. Okay, when all these lines here are heading down in the same direction, and the black line here crosses down below the MA1 with price below it, you would look to short right there. Now, if you have the cycle on here and you're only trading in the direction of the cycle, then you wouldn't have gone long on this one, I think. Let me put the cycle back on there. I just took it off. Hang on a second. There. Alright, you wouldn't have gone short on this one. You would have gone long in here at 10:30. You would have gone long right there. Okay, let me grab this and bring it over. You would have looked to go short right in here. Right there where all the lines were going down. Okay, right there. Now over here, instead of going long right here, you would have looked to go long right in there. Right there. Okay, and you wouldn't have been looking to go short right in there. Over here where everything starts going down, right here, is where you would have been looking to short. Okay, right there. Where the step line got down below the MA1 and price closed down below all that, and all these lines were going down, and the cycle is red and headed down. Okay, that's the way the soybeans looked this morning. There were a few opportunities. This long trade right here was probably the best opportunity of all. But I'm just going to slide that off. I'll look at the NQ with you for a couple of minutes. Alright. This was the NQ this morning. The NQ was really choppy with no follow through as well. Okay. Let's see. These were the setups. We had, well, starting right over here, we had bullish divergence with an up close. It got held in by the MA1. It eventually went up a little bit, but not too far. Over here, we had bearish divergence down here at the bottom with a down close right here after testing the BBC. That went down. We had bearish divergence here I had drawn in during the live market, but we lost the divergence here. So you would have been looking for the down close originally, but by the time it happened, we lost the divergence. So I wouldn't have taken that. Let's see, in here there was a long opportunity right here. I would have waited for it to get on the other side of the MA1 because the MA1 is one tick away from it. So a close above the MA1 would have been would have been good there. There's just nothing here this morning. Right here, but the cycle turned blue, so I may not have taken that. Just scrolling along quickly here. There really weren't that many opportunities there on the NQ. You know, usually we have more opportunities than that on the NQ. Let's see, I had outlined one trade in crude this morning, right here. Alright, that was the only one I had looked at, but you know, there were more. Crude gave more opportunities in here, right here. If you look at the bottom, you'll see the bullish divergence right here. If you look at the bottom, you'll see the bearish divergence right there, right over here. Right here, the MA1 was on the wrong side. As nice as that looks, I probably would not have gone right there. You were losing the divergence here, but if you got in right there, it would have worked out for you. The MA1's on the wrong side, right here. Now, when I'm circling these things here, guys, what I'm doing is I'm showing you the bar that you would have entered on. Like the up close of this bar is where you would have entered. Okay? Right in here. You see the divergence is on the bottom down here. The divergence is on this indicator, where the green is diverging from the cycle. All the other lines are also diverging from the cycle. That's what you're looking for. Okay, you see like right now there's bearish divergence, but the MA1's on the wrong side of the BBC. So it's not meaningful. Alright, let's see, what other markets have I not looked at? Corn. Here's the corn market right here. Okay, the same thing as soybeans. If you're trading in the same direction as the cycle and all these lines are headed down, you would have been looking to get short right in here. Long right in here. Okay, right here where they were all going up and that's going up. And you closed up above everything. Now that's a little pre-market though, so not really there. And I wouldn't have done anything right in there either. Yeah, right here is the spot, right there. Okay, because everything started going up, and the cycle is blue. And over here, where everything started going down, and the cycle was red. Those are the spots on the corn. Alright, so far I've covered the 6E, corn, soybeans, the YM, the ES, the Russell, gold. Have I covered the ES? I skipped the ES. Alright, let me do the ES. There was one good trade opportunity on the ES this morning. I was about 2 seconds late getting into it. It was right here at about 9:48. Price pulled up and tested the BBC. We had the bearish divergence right here. Bearish divergence, price tested the BBC. I had my order on there to get short at 13.94.5. Alright, you can see it dropped down from 13.94.5 down to 13.91.25. We had a 2-point bracket on that trade. Had we filled, that would have been the trade right there on the ES for us. Okay, after that, it just went sideways. It's been in a 2 1/4 point, is that right? 2 3/4 point? Maybe a 3-point range. 91 to 93.50. A 2.5 point range since 10:30. So for 2 hours now, it's been in a 2.5 point range. So there's not much you can do over there right now. Alright. That, my friends, is a wrap. If you have not taken a trial, you can go to www.cfrn.net/apply. Take a free trial. With the free trial, you get all the charts and indicators that you see in here. And you get to go in the live trading room. You get everything except access to the members area and access to the weekly partners meetings. Okay? You get everything else, though. You get the weekly trading zones. You get the live trading room. You get all the indicators and that stuff. And access to Dwayne and I as well. Alright, so again, if you haven't taken the free trial, go to www.cfrn.net/apply.